Welcome back. If you're new here, this channel is dedicated to one thing: helping people over 60 live sharper, healthier, more confident lives. No gimmicks, no miracle pills, just real information from real medical research delivered in a way that actually makes sense. Today, we're talking about memory. Specifically, we're talking about a technique that a growing number of neurologists are recommending to their patients: a brief daily brain exercise that targets the exact neural pathways responsible for short-term recall, mental clarity, and what scientists call working memory. That's the type of memory you use when you're holding a phone number in your head long enough to dial it, or when you're following a recipe and keeping track of 3 steps at once. After age 60, working memory naturally begins to slow. The connections between your brain cells, your neurons, don't fire quite as quickly. The prefrontal cortex, that's the front part of your brain that handles focus and decision making, starts to thin ever so slightly with each passing year. This is normal aging. But normal does not mean inevitable decline. Normal does not mean helpless. Your brain has something remarkable called neuroplasticity. That's just a fancy word that means your brain can rewire itself, strengthen itself, build new connections at any age: 70, 80, even 90. The research on this is no longer controversial. It's settled science. Your brain can grow if you give it the right stimulus. And that's exactly what this 60-second exercise provides. Before I teach you the exercise, I want you to understand why your memory has been acting differently. Because understanding the why takes away the fear. And fear, honestly, is half the problem. When you're stressed or anxious about forgetting things, your body releases cortisol. Cortisol is a stress hormone. In small doses, it's fine. It keeps you alert. But when cortisol stays elevated day after day, it actually damages a tiny seahorse-shaped structure deep in your brain called the hippocampus. The hippocampus is your brain's filing cabinet. It's where new memories get sorted, labeled, and stored. So here's the cruel irony. You worry about your memory. The worry produces cortisol. The cortisol shrinks the very part of your brain that handles memory. And then your memory gets worse, which makes you worry more. We're going to break that cycle today. There are a few other reasons memory shifts after 60. Sleep quality decreases, and sleep is when your brain consolidates memories from the day. Blood flow to the brain can reduce if you have high blood pressure or cardiovascular issues. Certain medications, antihistamines, some blood pressure drugs, sleep aids, can fog your thinking without you realizing the connection. And simple understimulation plays a role too. If your brain isn't being challenged regularly, those neural pathways get lazy. They thin out like a muscle you stopped exercising. None of this is a death sentence for your mind. All of it is addressable. And the exercise I'm about to share with you targets several of these issues simultaneously. All right, here it is. The technique is called active recall visualization, and variations of it have appeared in peer-reviewed neurology journals over the past decade. Some neurologists call it mental replay. Others call it deliberate retrieval practice. The name doesn't matter. What matters is the mechanism and how absurdly simple it is to do. Here's how it works. Once a day, ideally in the morning, but any time works, you sit quietly, close your eyes, and spend 60 seconds actively replaying the previous day in as much sensory detail as possible. That's it. 60 seconds, eyes closed, replay yesterday. Now let me be specific, because the details matter. You're not just vaguely thinking, oh, yesterday I went to the store. You're reconstructing. You're pulling up images, sounds, smells, textures. You're making your brain do the work of retrieval. So it might sound like this in your head. Yesterday morning, I woke up and the bedroom was cool. I could hear the neighbor's sprinkler through the window. I made oatmeal, the maple brown sugar kind, and I remember the spoon clinking against the bowl. Then I sat in my chair and read the newspaper. The headline was about the city budget. After that, I drove to the pharmacy. The parking lot was crowded. I spoke to the woman behind the counter. She had red glasses. You keep going. 60 seconds. As much vivid detail as you can pull from your memory. Here's why this works at a neurological level. Every time you force your brain to retrieve a memory, not passively recognize it, but actively pull it up from storage, you strengthen the synaptic connections associated with that memory. You're essentially exercising your hippocampus the same way a bicep curl exercises your arm. The retrieval itself is the workout. Dr. Michael Craig Miller at Harvard Medical School has written extensively about how retrieval practice outperforms almost every other memory strategy, including puzzles, supplements, and brain training apps. The act of trying to remember, even if you don't get every detail right, triggers a cascade of neural strengthening that passive activities simply cannot match. And here's what patients report after just 2 to 3 weeks of doing this daily. They remember names more easily. They lose their train of thought less often in conversation. They feel less foggy in the afternoons. Some even report that their dreams become more vivid, which is a sign of improved memory consolidation during sleep. Let me walk you through the ideal practice so you can start tomorrow morning. Step 1. Find a quiet spot. Your bed before you get up works perfectly. A favorite chair? The porch if it's peaceful? You need about 60 to 90 seconds of uninterrupted quiet. Step 2. Close your eyes. Take one slow breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. This isn't meditation. You don't need to clear your mind. You just need to settle your attention for a moment. Step 3. Start at the beginning of yesterday. Where were you when you first opened your eyes? What did the room look like? What sounds were present? Then move forward chronologically. Breakfast, mid-morning, afternoon, evening, bedtime. You won't cover everything in 60 seconds, and you don't need to. The goal is the effort of reaching for details, not perfection. Step 4. When you hit a blank spot, and you will, don't panic. Don't skip past it. Sit with it for just a few seconds. Try to recall what came before it or after it. Sometimes the surrounding details pull the missing piece back. Sometimes they don't. Either way, your brain is working. The attempt is the exercise. Step 5. Open your eyes. You're done. Go about your day. That's the whole thing. No equipment, no app, no subscription. No one even needs to know you're doing it. A 2019 study published in the journal Neuron examined what happens in the brain during deliberate memory retrieval. Researchers found that the hippocampus and prefrontal cortex, the two areas most vulnerable to age-related decline, showed significantly increased activity during recall tasks. More importantly, participants who practiced daily retrieval over a 6-week period showed measurable improvements in both short-term and long-term memory tests, compared to a control group who did crossword puzzles instead. Let me say that again. Daily retrieval practice outperformed crossword puzzles for memory improvement. Crosswords are wonderful. They exercise language and pattern recognition, but they don't make your brain reach into its own filing cabinet and pull things out. That's the key difference. A separate study from the University of Edinburgh followed older adults who practiced a form of mental replay after learning new information. Those who spent even brief periods, under 2 minutes, quietly reviewing what they just experienced retained up to 40% more detail a week later than those who immediately moved on to the next activity. 40%. From less than 2 minutes of quiet reflection. If you're over 60, or if you're caring for an elderly parent, a spouse, someone you love, this information could genuinely change the quality of their daily life. I don't say that lightly. I say it because the research is there, and the cost of trying is literally zero. Now, a few things I want you to watch out for, because I've seen people try this and accidentally undermine themselves. Mistake number 1, turning it into a test. This is not a pass-fail situation. If you can only remember 3 things about yesterday, that's fine. You're not being graded. The value is in the reaching, not the catching. Over time, you'll naturally recall more. But if you approach it with anxiety, "Oh no, I can't remember what I had for lunch, something must be wrong," you're flooding your brain with cortisol and defeating the purpose. Mistake number 2, doing it while distracted. If the television is on, if your phone is buzzing, if your spouse is talking to you, it won't work. Your prefrontal cortex cannot do deep retrieval while simultaneously processing external input. You need those 60 seconds of genuine quiet focus. That's all. just 60 seconds. Mistake number 3, skipping days and then trying to make up for it. This exercise works through consistency, not intensity. 60 seconds every single day beats 10 minutes once a week. Your brain responds to daily repetition the way a garden responds to regular watering. You can't dump a month's worth of water on Tuesday and expect roses by Friday. Mistake number 4, expecting instant miracles. Some people feel sharper within a week. For others, it takes 3 or 4 weeks before they notice changes. The neural pathways you're strengthening don't rebuild overnight. Be patient with yourself. You've earned that patience. Once you've been doing the basic version for a couple of weeks and it feels natural, here are 3 ways to level it up. Enhancement 1. Add emotional detail. Instead of just recalling what happened, try to recall how you felt. Were you annoyed waiting in line at the post office? Did the phone call with your daughter make you smile? Emotional memories activate the amygdala, which sits right next to the hippocampus and strengthens the encoding process. When you tag memories with emotion during recall, you're building richer, stickier neural traces. Enhancement 2. Work backward. Instead of starting at the beginning of yesterday and moving forward, try starting at bedtime and moving backward through the day. This forces your brain into a less familiar retrieval pattern, which creates additional neural challenges. It's like walking a familiar path in reverse. Suddenly, you notice things you'd been blind to for years. Enhancement 3. Verbalize it. Instead of doing the exercise silently in your head, try whispering or speaking softly as you recall the day. Engaging your speech centers adds another layer of brain activation. Some people find that speaking the memories aloud makes the details come faster and more vividly. If you live alone, talk freely. If you have a partner, this can actually become a lovely morning ritual, sharing what you each remember about the previous day over coffee. I'd be doing you a disservice if I didn't mention the bigger picture. This 60-second exercise is powerful, but it works best inside a brain that's being supported by healthy habits. Let me give you the short list. Sleep. Your brain consolidates memories during deep sleep. If you're only sleeping 4 or 5 hours, or if your sleep is fractured and shallow, your hippocampus doesn't get the chance to properly file away the day's experiences. Talk to your doctor if sleep is a struggle. It matters enormously. Movement. Even a 20-minute walk increases blood flow to the brain for hours afterward. You don't need to run marathons. You need to move your body regularly enough that fresh, oxygenated blood reaches your prefrontal cortex and hippocampus. Walking counts, gardening counts, dancing in your living room counts. Hydration, dehydration, even mild dehydration reduces cognitive function measurably. Many seniors don't feel thirsty until they're already significantly dehydrated. Keep water nearby. Sip throughout the day. Your brain is roughly 75% water. Give it what it needs: social connection. Isolation is one of the most damaging things for an aging brain. Conversation requires rapid memory retrieval, emotional processing, language production. It's a full brain workout disguised as coffee with a friend. If your social circle has shrunk, please consider finding even one regular connection. A weekly phone call, a church group, a neighbor you wave to who might enjoy sitting on the porch together. And finally, reduce unnecessary medications where possible, with your doctor's guidance, of course. Many older adults are on medications prescribed years ago that may no longer be necessary, and some of those drugs carry cognitive side effects that accumulate quietly over time. A medication review with your physician once a year is a reasonable and responsible request. I want to be honest with you about something because I respect you too much to sugarcoat it. The exercise I've shared today is for normal age-related memory changes, forgetting where you put your keys, blanking on a word that's right on the tip of your tongue, walking into a room and forgetting your purpose. These things are common and usually benign, but there are signs that something more serious may be happening, and I want you to know what they are. If you find yourself getting lost on routes you've driven for decades, not momentarily confused but genuinely disoriented, please see your doctor. If family members are expressing concern about repeated questions you don't remember asking, take that seriously. If you're having difficulty following conversations or television plots that you used to follow easily, that warrants evaluation. If your personality is shifting, increased irritability, withdrawal, apathy toward things you once loved, that's worth investigating. None of these things automatically mean Alzheimer's or dementia. They can be caused by thyroid problems, vitamin B12 deficiency, depression, medication interactions, even chronic urinary tract infections in older adults. Many of these causes are completely treatable and reversible, but you need a professional to sort it out. Don't let pride or fear keep you from an appointment that could give you answers and peace of mind. Let me bring this home. Your brain is not a machine that simply winds down until it stops. Your brain is alive, it's adaptive, it's capable of growth and renewal at every stage of your life. The science is unambiguous about this. Neuroplasticity does not expire at 60 or 70 or 80. What your brain needs, what it's been quietly asking for, is engagement. Deliberate, daily, gentle engagement. Not stress, not pressure, not expensive supplements or complicated programs. Just 60 seconds of focused retrieval. Every morning, eyes closed. Yesterday, rebuilt in your mind, piece by piece. You can start tomorrow. You can start right now, actually. Close your eyes after this video ends and try to recall everything you did today up to this point. Notice what comes easily. Notice what's fuzzy. Notice how your brain reaches for details, stretches toward them. That stretch is the exercise working. You are not losing yourself. You are not fading. You are someone who cares enough about their mind to spend time learning how to protect it, and that alone puts you ahead of most people at any age. If this information helped you today, I'm going to ask you for 3 small things. First, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We release new senior health content every week, and I don't want you to miss what's coming next. Second, share this video with someone you love, a spouse, a sibling, a friend who's been complaining about their memory. You might be handing them exactly what they needed to hear today. Third, drop a comment below and tell me, what's one thing you forgot recently that frustrated you? I read every single comment and I think you'll find you're not alone in this. Take care of that magnificent brain of yours. I'll see you in the next one.